What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another week of predictions. Week 12, I'm 4 games behind because it was a bit of a busy week. Blackout Wednesday with the boys. Thanksgiving, I cooked the turkey. It was all right. It's a little dry. Friday, golfing with friends from out of town. Today's Saturday. Survivor Series is tonight. And then we got football tomorrow. But we got to make the picks. I'll go over briefly the first 4 games that I missed. So the Packers and the Lions game. A lot of turnovers by the Lions, Jared Goff in specific. Lions now 0-13 on Thanksgiving when there's a waxing gibbous phased moon. Should have taken that into consideration when I made my picks. Dallas and Washington. Deron Bland breaking the record. I've never been so hyped for a Cowboys game or player. I don't know why I got so excited for it, but I was like jumping up and down in the kitchen when I was watching it. But hey, that's pretty impressive. Seahawks, 49ers. 49ers are still one of the best teams in the league. I think when they were going through that little rough patch, well, I think it was 3 straight losses, I think Brock Purdy's head was just... I think that concussion was a little bit worse than we may have anticipated. And then Black Friday, Tua got a chunk taken out of his arm, and there was a Hail Mary pick 6. And I don't think that, everybody was begging Robert Saleh to take Zach Wilson out and put Tim Boyle in, or put anybody else in. And you see they put Tim Boyle in, and it wasn't any better. So maybe we'll see Zach Wilson play next week. I don't know. I don't think they're going to sign anybody this late into the season. Trade deadline's passed, so I don't know. I don't want to put too much on Robert Saleh for that one. But here we go. Let's jump into Sunday. Indy and Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this one because Indy's defense sucks and their offense hasn't been that great either, at least in their last game against the Patriots, which it was just absolutely terrible. Tampa Bay's offense has been pretty decent, mainly through the air, and the Indy secondary has been getting cooked all year, so give me the Buccaneers. Then we have the Giants and the Patriots. And both these teams have been a little bit rough to watch. But if there's one thing I do enjoy watching, it's fucking Tommy DeVito. Dude was cooking last game against the Commanders. So I'm going to take the Giants just because New England, they blow this year. Looks like fucking Tommy DeVito is kind of, picking it up for the Giants just a little bit. So I'll take the Giants in this one. Next, we have the Steelers and the Bengals. There is no Joe Burrow, and that offense was already struggling for a good portion of the year. And now backup quarterback Jake Browning, not to say that he was terrible when he was in against the Ravens, but he's not Joe Burrow, and he doesn't have the chemistry with everybody else like Joe Burrow does. And the Steelers, you cannot afford to make a mistake turnovers-wise against them. Can you? Because their offense kind of sucks. Finally fired Matt Canada. But still, I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I'll say it. I've said it once. I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. Literally, statistically, the worst 6-4 team. But I'm still taking the Steelers. Next, we have the Panthers and the Titans. Not going to watch this game, honestly, but Carolina's O-line has been terrible most of the year, leading to very low offensive production from the Panthers at all. And despite the secondary for the Titans being pretty poor, their pass rush is decent, and it's decent enough to definitely cause some trouble for Bryce Young and the offense. So I'm going to take the Titans to win this one. And next we have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. And honestly, I couldn't really pick this was a really hard game for me to dissect. Their first matchup, Houston just steamrolled them. And I think they're both better from the point that they played at. Jacksonville coming off huge win. The Texans struggling a little bit. C.J. Stroud threw 3 picks, which was very unexpected. But in this one, I'm just going to take Jacksonville. It's kind of a coin toss, but since they're coming off the more impressive win, I'm going to go with the Jags. Next, we have the Saints and the Falcons. Basically, 2 very mid teams in a very bad division. The Saints lost Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore, put them on the IR. But I still think that their defense is going to probably win them this game. It's won them basically every other game. The Falcons, their offense just isn't there. It's not very existent, except for if Bijan Robinson is getting the touches that he should be getting, he can cause some trouble against the Saints' run defense, which is not up to its usual standard. But I don't think that they'll do any damage to the air. So I'm going to take the Saints in probably a pretty close game. Next, we have the Rams and the Cardinals. Both of these teams, another one that I didn't really enjoy picking because they both haven't been great this year, despite Kyler Murray being back and Matthew Stafford being healthy. The Rams just won over the Seahawks. The Cardinals had a pretty good defensive showing against the Texans. But the Rams have won 13 out of the last 15 games against the Cardinals. So I'm just going to use that trend in favor of me picking the Rams. So I'm going to pick the Rams for this one. Next, we have the Browns and the Broncos. The Broncos are on a roll. I mean, the Browns did get a win under DTR against the Steelers. That's a big divisional rivalry game. But I think the Broncos are just on fire right now. And if DTR is starting again, which I think he is, I think that the Broncos defense, which has been playing much, much better, and the Broncos offense, which has been playing a little better too, I think that the Broncos are going to be too much for DTR and this Browns team, so I'm going to take the Broncos. Then we have Buffalo and Philly. Buffalo, they may have kicked the shit out of the Jets, but I still think that they're fraudulent, and I don't think that they're going to be beating the Eagles. Josh Allen could say, "Oh, I'm back. He threw 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns or whatever. Still threw a pick. That's like 7 or 8 games straight with the pick. And especially if you're going against a good defense like Phillies and a team with a good defense that also has a good offense in Philly, turning the ball over like that's not going to win you games, and that's not what you want to do against the Eagles. So I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. Next, we have the Chiefs and the Raiders. And honestly, I wanted to pick the Raiders in this one going into it just because, not necessarily seeing the Chiefs that we normally see, seeing a rejuvenated Raiders team whose defense held the number 1 offense to only 20 points and were basically a solid quarterback away. Their offense just hasn't been great. I think it's just their offensive line is really terrible. And Aiden O'Connell, he's not a top. I'd say he's not an average QB. Not above average. So average, I don't know. Aiden O'Connell's not the guy that's going to win you a bunch of games, at least right now. So with that said, they almost beat the Dolphins. Going into the Chiefs game at home, a little bit of momentum still, but they don't have Max Crosby. So all of that just flew out of the window. All of that yapping I just did, straight out the window because I'm picking the Chiefs. Because if there's no Max Crosby, I don't want to pick the Raiders. And he's the main piece of their defense. It's him and Robert Spillane, Amik Robertson as well. But still, just give me the Chiefs. Maybe a little bit closer than usual, but give me the Chiefs. Next, we have the Chargers and the Ravens. And this one, another pretty easy pick for me is the Ravens, because the Chargers defense is just so terrible. They really are. And the Ravens defense offense is balling. Mark Andrews is hurt, of course, but they still have weapons. Maybe, that takes a little bit less. Obviously, it's going to take a little less attention off the tight end into others, but still, if there's any defense that you don't really have to worry about, it's going to be the Chargers. And I can't pick the Chargers after that performance against the Packers. Justin Herbert is getting his ass kicked out there. He's taped up everywhere he's got cuts and bruises, everything. And he's still putting the team on his back. He's putting the team on his fucking back, and they're just boom, dime, drop, boom, dime, drop. So it really sucks. Free Justin Herbert, fire Brandon Staley. Ravens are winning this game. That's actually my lock of the week. And then Monday, we have the Bears and the Vikings. Bears in primetime, not typically what I want to see, but it is against the Vikings, which I kind of want to see because of the Pastronaut. The Bears almost had it against the Lions. It looks like they were playing some pretty decent football, and then it just all washed away. They picked off Jared Goff 3 times. So is their defense stepping up, or is that a Goff thing? Is Goff getting turnover happy? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see this game. Their defense typically sucks, and they're going against an offense that has the Pastronaut, has been rolling even under the Pastronaut. I'm not sure if Justin Jefferson's playing this game, but honestly, that's not going to factor into my decision because anyway, I was going to take the Vikings. So give me the Vikings over the Bears to close out Week 12. Well, that was a little bit of a shorter video in terms of my predictions. I know I didn't dive into really the first 4 games. It's been a pretty busy week, but since we're on the topic of Thanksgiving, I want to say how thankful I am for everybody who tunes into my videos, comments, interacts, shares, all of that. Even if you want to dislike my video, I still appreciate it. Still very thankful. Thankful for the past year and almost 2 years of me making videos and everybody who has stuck around. Love you for that. I will be having a lot of announcements coming soon in terms of my channel. If you're interested, I'll be making some posts about it here in the next couple weeks. So eyes peeled for that. But other than that, I really don't have anything much more. Should have another video coming out next week. That's a non-predictions video. But until then, see you guys later.